Today, we're going to learn all about Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is a type of disease that certain people have that makes them lose a part or multiple parts of their memory that may be vital to them. About 5.1 million people suffer from Alzheimer's, which is the population of the United States as of October 13th, plus another half. I couldn't really draw the United States, so that's the best I could do. For instance, my grandmother lost all her memory of her being with me. For instance, like this one. We were coming out of church, and she held my hand across the street, and I said, "I love you." Or memories like when she used to take me to Boston. She would always need a tour guide book every time because she would forget. And I used to play with the fish in the water and the ducks. I didn't draw any ducks though because I can't draw. Every time I would bring events up like this, she would have no memory whatsoever of them. Alzheimer's disease gets worse and worse over time and can affect daily tasks that someone like my grandmother may have to do. Over time, my grandmother has needed assistance in tying her shoes. That's why she has a pair of shoes that don't even have laces. There was one time she even went outside for a walk with her running shoelaces undone and tripped and fell on the cement. She's okay though. She just bled a little. The effects of Alzheimer's take place mostly in the brain, since that's associated with memory, understanding, remembering, things like that. A lot of people may think that this happens to their grandparents and their elders because they're older, but that's not really the case. Truth is, you can get it anytime, but the chances are kind of slim. Only 1 out of 20 people suffer from Alzheimer's that are under 65. It mostly happens to people over the age of 50 because their dementia worsens over time. In fact, dementia also affects 1 in every 20 people over the age of 55. If someone has Alzheimer's disease, symptoms will include things like having less energy to do things, forgetting conversations that just happened, and getting lost on the road frequently. And other things like that. My grandmother isn't allowed to drive anymore because sometimes she just pulls over and literally forgets how to drive. Since Alzheimer's disease is mostly associated with memory, there are vital changes that happen in the brain once the disease takes effect. In a normal brain, there are neurons that receive electrical charges from each other, and the electrical charges release neurotransmitters that tell the body what to do and how to function. When somebody has Alzheimer's disease, the neurons lose the ability to connect with each other. The disconnection can affect remembering things and someone's overall thinking skills. The formation of beta amyloid plaques and neurofibrillary tangles then start to form. Let's start off with the beta amyloid plaques. In a normal brain, an enzyme called alpha secretase snips amyloid precursor protein, or APP for short. When this is cut, the floating APP benefits the neuron. Neurons love APP. In a brain of a person who has Alzheimer's, the alpha secretase turns into beta secretase and cuts APP. When the beta protein cuts the APP, it floats around and actually clumps together with other beta proteins. When they clump together, that's what forms the beta amyloid plaques. The bigger the plaques, the more harmful they are to the neuron. This is somewhat similar to the neurofibrillary tangles in the brain. The tangles are made when tau, a protein, changes its normal behavior. In a normal brain, tau stabilizes structure that is important to neurotransmission. In the brain of a person with Alzheimer's, tau separates from its microtubules and forms into neurofibrillary tangles. When these tangles form, they destroy the neuron it lives in. Rest in peace, little guy. When beta amyloid plaques and neurofibrillary tangles form in the brain actually decreases in size, and over time becomes even smaller than it was before. Unfortunately, there aren't any cures that exist yet for people with Alzheimer's, but a person can take certain drugs that'll help with brain communication. Two drugs that are said to work the best are cholinesterase inhibitors and mermantine, or Namenda. When my grandmother took these drugs, nothing good happened to her. It didn't really benefit her. But I still love her regardless, and she will be the best grandmother ever to me. Yay. If you're still confused, you know I'm a rapper, so I had to put a few bars in there, so check out my YouTube.